Hey everyone, good evening. It is late tonight, and I'm Robin from Center Street Decor SVGs. So tonight, I promised I would come back today so I could paint our cute cocoa mugs. And these are our cute cocoa mugs. This is the great big one, so that I painted earlier, and then we have our small size. So these, I wanted to hop on and show you these cute cocoa mugs. If you caught my live earlier today, I did the, hey Lara, how are you? I did the mittens. So if you hopped on that live, we were able to paint this darling mitten, and we added pattern paper, and I will tell you how to cut that with your laser. And I told you in the live that we did this video. Good, I'm doing great too. I am doing as well. So I don't know if you have had a chance to see the mittens or the cocoa mugs, but that's what we're going to do tonight. So the cocoa mug, I've already painted two of them, and we're just going to paint the medium size one tonight. And I'm just going to give you some tips. And I did have Christine ask me a little bit about the magnets that I used to put on my laser. So I'm going to show you the magnets that I use. And I'm struggling with a little bit of a cough going on, and so I've got my water here, so hopefully I don't cough too much. So I have that handy. So, and then I just realized I don't have a whole lot of power left on my phone, so we're just going to probably have to do this kind of quick, huh? So hopefully we have enough. So I'm going to tip you down so I can show you the pieces to the cocoa mug. So with my chunky shelf sitters, I use 3 different layers. And I do that so that they will stand all on their own when they're all glued together. So that's how, let me get you a little bit more in view. So here's the little mini cocoa mug, and they're so cute. And I love the tags. If you didn't know, I love to add tags on everything. So every set that I make for right now they have tags, and I just love it. So here are the layers of our cocoa mug. So we have the very back layer, and I did already take a baby wipe and just wipe a little bit of burnt umber on the back just to save a little bit of time. So that's already done for us, and I've already done the back of these previously. And then we have our center layer right here. So the center layer I don't need to paint. I don't need to do anything with. So these 2 layers are finished. They're complete. And then here are the 2 layers. I already started with our little cream on top. I already painted 1 layer of white. So I just want to paint 1 more layer. So I used pattern paper, and this is the pattern paper that I used. So the neat thing about when I use the Glowforge, and you probably do this too, those of you who have lasers, if you're able to see your screen, you can actually zone in on an area of pattern paper. So like right here, I really wanted to get a lot of this flourish in the corner of my mug, and I thought that would be really pretty. So I kind of zoned in on the pattern paper just to get the area. I loaned up my pattern right on top. So it's going to be really cute on there. So, and then here are the 4 tags that come with the cocoa mug. So sometimes I do 3 tags, and sometimes I do 4 tags, if you notice with my files. So these are the 4 tags, if you can read those. So hug in a mug, warm up here, cup of cheer, and hot cocoa. So I did the hot cocoa, so you can see that one on the mini right there. I did the hot cocoa, and then on this one, I did the hug in a mug. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and I'll do a cup of cheer on the middle size. So these I'll just set aside and use on another time. Okay, let me get my little readers out. So what I want to do, I usually use a piece of painter's tape to hold down my my little pieces, so my tags or anything like that. I'm going to make sure I'm in screen well enough if I pull this down. And whenever I do, you can see my little greenery right here. So with the greenery, I add all of that on with a little bit of hot glue. So I have my hot glue gun set up over here next to me. So you're not familiar with the laser, Lara. So the laser actually cuts all the way through. You lose using a laser beam. So it cuts all the way through the wood. But my laser cuts through 1/4-inch wood or anything smaller. And that's what these are. These are 1/4 inch. So yeah. So it uses a laser beam to cut through things. So it can cut through paper and it can cut through wood. You just have to adjust the settings. So they're really fun. You could go on YouTube and see how a laser works if that's something that you're interested in, Laura. So you can also, I have wood blanks in my shop of some of the items. So if you want to just buy the wood pieces and then get those and paint them yourselves, you can do that as well. So that's an option that you have. Okay, so I need to do one more coat of my white on this. So when I have my white paint already going. So, and remember, whenever you have score lines, and that's what the black lines are right here, you just want to be careful not to squish the paint into there. You just want to be really careful. So I'm just going to tap all over this. Just tap, 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 tap. Just get some good coverage. Okay, move that out of the way. And I'm actually going to grab a smaller piece of sponge to do the little tag. I'm going to cut this and just cut it in half. Because when I use smaller pieces, when I have smaller pieces, I don't like too big of a sponge. For me, that just works so much better. Okay, so again, because we have the engraved lines, this one is scored on here, but this is engraved. So it gave us all of that detail. So I'm just tapping very lightly. I'm just barely touching. And that's what I want. I still want to be able to see those letters. If I push really firmly, it's going to squish all of that paint into there. Hey, Kristen, how are you? So yeah, I'm on a roll today, huh? Because I already did the mittens, so now we got to do the cocoa cup. So we've got to paint all the fun things. So some of you I know do craft fairs, and that is so fun. So, and I know that I've had some people comment that a lot of my files have been really good sellers for the craft fair. And I'm really glad about that. Oh, sorry. Still have that little bit of cold going on, a little bit of cough. So let me just tap this very gently, and then I'll let that dry. And then once that dries, I'll probably do one more coat. Okay, so let me just talk to you a little bit about the paper that I use. I just use cardstock. And you could actually, if you look at the back, there's almost no scorch lines. And again, a laser cut this. So thank you, Lara. So what I do is when I lay this on my laser, now whatever type of laser you have, you're gonna have to work with your settings. I can tell you what I use for my Glowforge, but I know that every laser is different, even from Glowforge to Glowforge. So what you want to do is you want to speed it up to go pretty fast. And then you want to, for me, I come way down on the power. So most of the time when I cut through wood, I do 100%. But when I do the paper, I don't. Okay, so I have my little settings, my little cheat sheet. So for my Glowforge, I put the material on 20-pound paper. So I think 20-pound paper is like your paper that goes through your printer. So it's a very lightweight, excuse me. So I just put it way down. So that's what I do for the material. And then the cut settings I do at 400. let me just show you this. So again, if you don't have a Glowforge, you're just going to have to figure out, you're going to have to speed it up really fast. So I do 400 is my speed, and then I lower my power all the way to 45. And it cuts it in about 10 seconds, 11 seconds for this, for something similar to this. So it's very, very fast. Okay, so what I do, and that's the settings I use. And you're just going to have to try and play with it. So just whenever I cut with paper, I always watch it. So I watch it like a hawk. I don't want anything to catch on fire. I want to be really safe with the lasers. You need to be careful. So I watch it. With my wood, I can listen really close. I'm still right there, but I can listen to it. Oh, have you used cut paper, Kristen, with your laser? That is so cool. I'm glad you've done it. So what I do is when I lay my paper on my laser, I use magnets to hold it in place because in my laser, there's some air blowing around inside of there. And so it can blow the paper if it's not held down. And so what I do is I have some magnets here, and these are just, I'm going to show you this word. These are very, very strong magnets. Neodymium. I don't even know how to say that. I'm just going to hold that right there. So that's kind of the search that you might want to do if you're looking for magnets. And then there's all types. Let's see, Kristen, you just said if you don't have one, um, yes, I know you have a huge laser. Oh, if you don't have, so how would you cut the shape? So for example, if you ordered wood blanks, then you can trace this. Is that what you meant? You can trace your wood. So trace your piece of wood and then just cut that out on paper if you don't have a laser. So anyway, so I hope that helps to find magnets. So these are probably about 3/4 of an inch, and they are so strong. Like what I have to do to take them apart is I have to slide them, and it takes a lot of force to slide them apart from each other. So, and then when I get really close, you have to be kind of careful because they can pinch your fingers. So these are really small ones that I use. And the reason that I have this tool, if you have a paper cutting machine, like a Cricut or a Silhouette, this might look familiar. And this is what I use to pick them up off my laser because, otherwise I'm like digging my nails into everything. And, I don't want to mess up the nails. My goodness, huh? Okay, so there is some other magnets right here that I've used. You can see that the laser has actually touched these, and yeah. So these are super strong too. So they come like this, and you can actually pull this plastic off and these are like about a 1.25 inch diameter. So these work great too. The fun thing about this is it has this plastic disc right here that you can lay in between the magnet, and it makes it much easier to get apart. It will only lay down one way. If I try to put it one way, yeah, magnets are funny like that, huh? So that's how I use these. These are a little bit easier to get apart because I have that disc, and that disc actually came with these. So these are about 1.25, and there are so many different magnets on Amazon if you look it up. So just find the size you want. Oh, I did something really bad. These two just really want to be friends here. Oh my gosh. Like these little ones and these big ones, they want to connect. And I'm so glad I had this right here because now I can pull them apart. It's like I try to keep them away from each other. They don't live in the same area in my drawer at all. They live in completely different areas because if I get them connected, it's too hard to get them apart. So I'm going to put one to one side and I'll keep one. Yeah, they want to be too good of friends. Okay, so I hope that clears some things up about some of the magnets. So But you're right. I'm glad that you said if you don't have a laser, how would you cut the paper? So yeah, just lay that on your pattern paper, trace around and cut it out. So okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to use a little bit of Mod Podge to put this on. Let's see. I'm trying. Okay, I'm like, I hope my power is doing okay on my phone. I hope I don't run out. And I'm just going to use a paintbrush that I used earlier, and I still have my water here. And we're just gonna, it's just like we're painting on here. So you don't want to do too thick of a coat. So just a nice thin coat. And then I just try to come around the handle area too. And then if there's any in there, I'll flick it out with my fingernail. And then get your corners good too. Okay, so here's my pattern paper. And it matches up so well. Okay, just smooth it out on there. Okay, so that piece is finished. Oh, except that I want to do, almost finished. I want to do a little bit of Mod Podge on the top. So once I put that down, actually, I think I'm going to let that dry for a second. Because sometimes if you've ever used Mod Podge and it bubbles up a little bit, that's what I have found is if I try to Mod Podge the top right after I attached it to my piece of wood or anything. Oh, you almost missed me. Oh, hey, Christine. And then there's Sue. I'm glad you didn't miss me, Sue. I'm glad you came to join me. And Kelly. So, Kelly, if you have a laser, I use the magnets to hold my pattern paper down when I cut it on my laser because sometimes the pattern paper could blow. I have a little bit of a fan inside there in my laser. So I hold the pattern paper down, and you would want to do that. You would not want that paper to go flying because it could catch on fire. And I watch it. I was telling everybody I watch it like a hawk whenever I cut pattern paper. And it goes so fast. It cuts really fast. So it doesn't take long at all. Okay, so I am going to let that dry just a little bit, that Mod Podge dry. And while that's drying, let's do a little bit of detail work. Actually, I'm going to paint this one more time. And then we'll do a little bit of detail work on our whipped cream. So again, very light tapping. Tap it very, very, very gently because you don't want to squish in any of those engraved letters. And if you happen to get a little bit in there, just grab a toothpick, or you can also get a poker tool. This is my poker tool that I use that I just purchased from Dollar Tree. I think it comes in 2 in a pack, and this is really, really sharp. So, and it comes with a cap, but I never put it back on because I just put it in my cup that I have over here. So it is a great way to use scraps, Kelly. So yeah, and it's so fun because when I first started cutting paper, I actually Mod Podged it to the wood, and then I would put the wood in to the laser, and then I would cut it. But then I had so much waste for my paper. So this way, I'm cutting the wood first, and then I'll cut the paper. So then there's like no waste, and then I can use little pieces because I have some of those little small 6x6 pattern paper books. If you've ever had any of those, I've done a lot of scrapbooking in my days, but so I have a lot of pattern paper. I probably never have to buy pattern paper again. Although I'm going to have to tell you, when I was at Hobby Lobby the other day, I always look at their Christmas pattern paper because it's always 50% off. All their Christmas, I don't know why they do that, but it's so funny. Everything's 50% off and they're just barely putting it on the shelves. But anyway, so yeah. So when I was at Hobby Lobby, I purchased like 4 different 6x6 pattern paper Christmas ones because I just love it. I don't know. I guess I'm like a hoarder of pattern paper. Any of you like that? I don't know why. We just do that. Okay, so while that's drying, let's do a little bit of our shading on here. And you guys have seen me do this a lot if you've watched my videos. I like to use the burnt umber. Oh, look at this. It's just a mess, but yeah, I don't know why my burnt umber thinks it has to be so messy looking, huh? Yeah. Okay. So I like to get my brush a little bit wet, and then I tap it off on my paper towel just to get most of the moisture out. You still want some moisture in there. And then I'm going to dip just the very corner in. It's hard to tell when I'm using brown, but I have just the tiniest amount on the corner of my brush. And then I'm just going to do strokes, just straight strokes, just to blend that, if you can see what I've done. And then what I'm going to do is just take it to my project here. And then I just drag the paint. And then when I like run out, I know that there's no more water in here. So I pick it up. You don't want too much water. It's kind of like a fine medium trying to figure out the water. You don't want too much, but you don't want too little. So then I'm just going to go around all of these little bumps. Come back over this again. Whoops, I knew that was going to happen when I did it. I dragged across here. So whenever you make a mistake, just grab some water. I just have just water on my paintbrush, and then I'm going to clean up. And nobody will know I made a mistake, right? You guys won't tell anybody, right? Oh, you're a hoarder of every craft. If you saw my craft room, you and I, we would be best friends. So, yep, kind of a hoarder of all the craft things. I've got paper, I have metal dies. Yeah, all the things. Okay, so a little bit more. And then I'm just going to go underneath my score lines right here, just to add a little bit of dimension. And I need a little bit more water. This time I grabbed just a little bit of just water, and I didn't grab paint, so I'm going to just pull that color. There we go. Okay. There, that's it. So we add just a little bit of dimension to our cocoa cup. And now I can come back here and add the rest, the Mod Podge on the top, like I was going to do before. And just do a thin coat. You don't want it too thick on here. And a thin coat also helps it to dry really quick. I just try to go from the inside out so I don't get too much over the edge. It's trickier when you've got the handle, because I'm bound to get in that edge a little bit. But I try to go in and just clean it up if I need to. So once I have a coat on there, then I just want to go in one direction and just smooth it all out. I can already feel it's drying. It dries really quick. So then, because sometimes you see the lines, but if you just pull it in one direction, your Mod Podge will just look nice and smooth on there. And then I will rinse off my brush that I used for my Mod Podge, so it doesn't dry in there. Okay, and I think this is probably dry enough that we can add a little bit of our dimension, our shadowing to our tag. Just a little bit of paint on the edge right here. Okay, and then we'll get the outside edges in just a minute. So while that's drying for a second, let's start doing our glue. So these are really quick. I think they come together really, really fast. So again, I have my back layer, and I just make sure that this one's on the bottom because, you know, since I've already done the baby wipe and the burnt umber. So this is going to be my middle piece. Done with the Mod Podge. I'll put the lid on. Okay. I just fill kind of all of the edges just to make sure it lines up, especially on the bottom, because that's the part that's going to stand up. And you want it to have a flat bottom. Let's add, I'm going to wait on the cocoa cup because I can see that's still drying. Let's come back and do a little bit. Finish the highlighting. And one thing nice is the highlighting. When you do this, it dries really quick, and then we'll be able to do our tag. Okay. Extra water on there. So, okay, let that dry. Like, can I put this on? See if it will let me. Okay, remember to fill all the edges to line it up. Okay. Just going to let it sit there. And let's go ahead and put the top on. Put our cream right on top. And now it's just like you're putting the puzzle together. Robin is pretty much amazing in all things. Oh, Kristen, you're just so sweet. Gosh, you guys are funny. So the glue that I like to use, this is just my favorite glue. This is called Stick Fast, and it is, I'm going to put the lid on so I can turn it and show you. This is called Stick Fast, and it is the thick. So there is a thin one, but I prefer the thick. So it's not, I don't know. I think the thin would be too runny. But anyway, this is just like super glue. If you've ever stuck your fingers together with super glue, this will do it too. So you do have to be careful. And I have stuck my fingers together many a times. Okay, so that's it. That's the cocoa mug. And it's just really simple right now. Oh, Amazon or Walmart. Amazon. I purchased it from Amazon. I think there was for a while, somebody was saying it was really hard to get the stick fast, but I don't know. Isn't that cute? And I love this, you know, so I just kind of picked out getting just this edge of the flourish on the pattern paper. I thought it was so fun. Okay, but what's going to make this cocoa cup come to life is when you add all the fun accessories. So we have our tag here, and you know I love my tags. I think these little tags just add everything, all the little details is what I just love to add. So I've just got a piece of really thin string, and I've had this forever, and it's super, super thin. And I'm going to have to go online and see if I can find some more, because I think this is all I have left. And this is actually from like Stampin' Up! From like years and years and years ago. So I'm sure they don't even carry it anymore. I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 10 years. But of course, that was over 10 years ago. So, yeah. So just grab your ribbons and your trims, anything. I love to use this lacy, especially fall and Christmas. I think I think I'll just use it all year long because I love it. Okay, so what I do is just take your thin twine. Isn't that paper so pretty? The paper, you know what? It's another one of those little small 6x6 pattern paper books that I've probably had for like 5 years. I just kind of keep them organized into like Christmas and different seasons. So I grabbed this Christmas one. And yeah, it's probably not available anymore, but I know that there's still some super cute stuff out there because I told you I went to Hobby Lobby and just bought, you know, 4 more of those little 6x6 pads. So there's still super cute pattern paper out there. Okay, so I just took my 2 pieces and now I'm going to lay it on here and I'm just going to tie a knot. So I see it's really going to twist on me. So I'm not going to let that brown come toward the top. I'm not going to let it come over. I don't mind it coming over a little bit, but I don't want it to flip all the way over. Okay, just tie yourself a knot. Okay, and then the next little thing, we're just going to give it a little bit of a haircut. And I just usually cut all my pieces like one longer than the next. And I like to do them at an angle. That's just kind of that's just how I do it. And I think that's going to be cute. So cute. So that's going to go on our cocoa cup. So that would be just cute, just like that. But let's go the next step and let's just do a little bit more of the accessorizing. So I've got a little bit of greenery here. Nothing fancy. Oh my gosh, this is just like probably the cheapest greenery. You could probably find this at the Dollar Tree. So just get you a piece of greenery and then I just cut the little sprigs off the top. And this piece I don't usually use because it's unless you're going to use a little tiny piece, but I just cut little pieces off. So this will last me probably a really long time. And I have a bunch of these. And then I have these berries. These are actually 4th of July berries. They were on a big garland, I think with some stars. But I really love these dark berries. And this is how they work. So I just rip those off. They're in like two little pieces. So, and then there's some white ones on here. Let's see if I can pull those off. And I've got my white ones right there. And then I might need, they have the blue on here, but I'm obviously not going to use the blue, but I just save this stuff. You guys, if me and Sue, we've got crafts to last us the rest of our life, but I don't know why for me, I keep buying more, but okay. So now I've got my hot glue gun over here. We're going to use that, my hot glue gun, and just decide, where you want to put your cute little tag. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So I'm just going to go right here. So I add all my greenery and my cute stuff here. So I'm just going to stick the ends of the greenery in there. And I'll keep these in 2s. And I'm going to put that in there. Doesn't always cooperate, but just, maybe we'll put one over here. And we'll throw the white in there too. I might need to add a little bit more glue. But all this is going to be hidden. All that glue mess, that's going to be hidden by our tag. And I'm being really careful not to touch the hot glue. I have this little, like another Dollar Tree tool. It's used for makeup. I'm not really sure what they use it for makeup, but it works great in crafting and hot glue. So that's where you might find one of these tools in the makeup section of the Dollar Tree. Okay, so once I have all that kind of where I think it looks great. I do like to put a little bit of a riser. If you have an extra piece of wood, a little scrap piece of wood, even like sometimes the center, you get big pieces when you cut wood. Oh, you need one of these tools? Yeah. Makeup section, Dollar Tree. I don't know what they make. I don't know. Put it on their face. I don't know. Put foundation on. I don't even know. Okay, so let's put a little, I call these a riser. And I just put just a scrap piece of wood. It doesn't have to be pretty at all. Just put it on there. So we're just doubling it up. So it's just going to lift it off of our mug just a little bit. And I just love that little look, just to lift it off. You like that comment, Sue? Yeah, me and you. We're the crafting hoarders. I don't know. I think crafters, I think it's kind of in our blood to be hoarders. I don't know. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put, yeah, I've already got stick fast glue on me. It's only there for a day or two. Don't worry if you get stick fast on you. At least I haven't died from it. I don't know. I'm okay. So I put just a bunch of hot glue right there. And that's kind of where this edge and my ribbon is going to be stuck there. So then my ribbon isn't going to go anywhere. So put it where you want. Hold it in place. Takes a few seconds for this stick fast to adhere, probably about 15 seconds or so. You do have a little bit of a wiggle room, so I've noticed when using the stick fast, but you don't want to wiggle too much. Okay. And ta-da! Here is the final look. So here is, once you add a little bit of that greenery, and I mean, not even, probably just pennies of ribbon, a little bit of, you know, I don't even know what you call these little things. Berries. We'll call them berries. They're just little berries, and I like the tiniest. Just the little pieces. I think all of that, when you add that to your finished product, I think it just adds so much, and it just makes it look great. And make sure if you're selling, pick all of your little hot glue stringies off. It just makes it look good. Another thing that I might do is, which I usually do, is clean up my edges. So anytime I have just a little bit of overage, and sometimes I don't go right to the very edge, because then you can kind of see a little bit of that marker on the other side, and I don't want to. This is a furniture marker from the Dollar Tree. And so I'm just going along just the edges, just to clean it up just a little bit, just so it gives a little bit more of a professional look. There. Now it's complete. And if I was going to sell this at a craft fair, I would give it a quick spray of some clear coat, and I would spray it with it all finished just like this. That's kind of how I've done my other things in the past when I did my craft fairs. So anyway, this hot cocoa mug is so quick and easy. I just think it's great. So along with our cute mittens here, I think these would be hot sellers at craft fairs. So I have done craft fairs in the past, and I'm currently not doing any because I'm just designing, and that's what I'm liking to do. But I think they would be good sellers. But anyway, so my phone is just coming down in the charge. We're at 12%. But anyway, I'm glad that you liked it. I think it turned out, and I love these kind of muted, non-traditional, kind of a non-traditional Christmas colors. They're more muted, but I love that. Flip you up. I've got hot glue hanging from my fingertips and all the fun things. I'm sporting my, these are my Dollar Tree readers. I love them. all over the house. That's where they go with me. But anyway, if you have any questions, just put a little message on here and let me know. And if you're watching this on the replay, let me know too. And I hope you all have a fabulous night. And I am going to go and have a good night. I'm going to go to bed early, I think. It's early here. It's probably late where some of you guys are. But anyway, I hope you all have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.